Denver 7 On Demand is brought to you by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
Good morning to you. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Molly Hendrickson. Here's the latest from Denver 7. Former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper is facing new criticism for his response to a question about gender during a town hall debate on CNN. Here's what he said when he was asked whether or not he would commit to choosing a woman as his running mate.
Well, again, of course. But I think that we should be, well, I'll ask you another question. How come we aren't
asking the question?
I know. I know. But how come we're not asking more often the women, would you be willing to put a man on the ticket?
The same question has been asked of other male presidential candidates over the past few weeks. Several have signaled they plan to choose a female running mate. Hickenlooper stood by his comment after the town hall, saying he only meant to criticize the premise of the question.
The plan to better fund our schools and roads will mean less money back in all of our pockets. Our state lawmakers are deciding whether or not to ask voters to let the state keep excess funds collected through Tabor rather than refunding to Colorado taxpayers. The economic boom means that the state will have more money than it's allowed to spend because of Tabor limits, but any decision to keep the excess rather than refunding it would have to go on the ballot first.
I would consistently ask folks, what concerns you, what's on your mind, what's important to you. And the two issues that bubbled to the top of the list consistently was transportation and education.
So this has been done before. Back in 2005, Coloradans did vote to let the state keep and spend excess Tabor funds for a 5-year period. If voters agree to the idea, the estimate is that the first year could bring in an extra $65 million to $1 billion. So we looked up the budgets of each department to see what kind of impact that might have. K through 12 education gets about $6 billion, higher education $4.6 billion, and transportation gets about $1.7 billion. Now the extra boost doesn't seem like much, but every department could use the extra money, especially CDOT. They say they have a backlog of more than $9 billion in projects.
Adams County will stop issuing new oil and gas permits temporarily as state lawmakers continue work on reshaping the industry. Commissioners unanimously passed a 6-month moratorium. They worry energy companies could flood the county with applications before state lawmakers can pass the oil and gas bill. That legislation would give the county more power to regulate the industry. Commissioners say if it becomes law, it could take 6 months for the county to reevaluate its regulations. As our Colorado changes, many people who have lived here for a long time want to keep their communities looking the same. A group of citizens in Golden went to City Council and asked for a slowdown on construction. Tonight, the City Council will hold a public hearing on a 120-day moratorium on new duplexes and multifamily homes while the city reviews its codes.
Parts of our code we'll be looking at, trying to determine if we can refine them to make the outcomes, the projects that get built, more in keeping with our comprehensive plan.
City officials told Denver 7 they've been reviewing the codes for mass and bulk developments, and they're 2/3 of the way done. The goal is to see if they can refine the codes to make sure they're in line with the city's comprehensive plan. Tonight's public hearing is part of the City Council meeting. That council meeting starts at 6:30 at the council chambers on 10th Street.
With more and more people moving to our Colorado, builders are struggling to build enough affordable housing. But today, Habitat for Humanity is officially breaking ground on a new project in Denver. Work has already started at the site at 44th and Columbine in the Elyria-Swansea neighborhood. Habitat is building 16 duplexes, which means 32 new homes. This is an ongoing effort by Habitat in that area.
We've been partnering with the Globeville, Elyria, and Swansea neighborhood for a number of years now. We've been building new homes. We've also been repairing older homes. Really partnering with families who've lived there, many for generations, who need a new roof, new windows and doors to make it a healthier, more energy efficient home.
So if you're struggling to find an affordable home, Habitat is still taking applications for these new duplexes.
Contact 7 has helped bring a sense of peace and quiet for people living in Denver's Cherry Creek neighborhood. The city of Denver has removed a short-term rental license from a $5 million mansion after our reporting. Neighbors reached out to Contact 7 in January saying renters were throwing wild parties at the mansion. Now, in order to use your home for short-term rentals, you have to be the primary resident. We checked out the home and found the homeowner doesn't actually live there.
And it is not okay when people are disrupting their community, and what we see with short-term rentals a lot of times with tourists in and out, there might be disruption, there might be noise, there might be parties, and this just is not the right area to do that in.
So the city will start implementing new short-term rental rules starting April 10th. They'll include new insurance requirements and clarifications on compliance. A growing number of Coloradans are using ride-share services like Lyft and Uber just to avoid the struggles of trying to find parking in our city. A new study by CU Denver finds the difficulty and expense of parking is the #2 reason we use ride-share services, right behind going out and drinking. But more than a quarter of riders say that they would drive and park downtown themselves if ride-sharing wasn't an option. Researchers suggest cities like Denver may want to re-examine whether parking lots are worth the space they take up. Despite the study's findings, Denver Public Works says it hasn't seen a decrease in demand for street or metered parking. Drive by your favorite gas station this morning and you will certainly notice the 20-cent per gallon increase if you haven't already. Gas prices have been creeping up for the last month. Right now, AAA says a regular gallon of gas in Denver is averaging $2.33 a gallon. A month ago, it was $2.04. And while it feels like a quick surge for those of us who fill up on a regular basis, we're still right in line with what we were paying a year ago.
Because we're heading into the summer driving season, all of the refineries right now are going offline for maintenance. So we're expecting to see increases this type of year anyway. The reason we saw such a dramatic jump week over week is because we see refineries coming offline. So AAA expects gas prices to keep increasing as we get closer to Memorial Day. Some good news, Colorado's statewide average is still 20 cents cheaper than the national average. Nuggets fans, today is your first chance to get your hands on tickets for playoff basketball here in Denver. Yeah, pre-sale ticket sales start at 4 today for anyone who signed up for the Nuggets newsletter. The rest go on sale tomorrow. Nuggets clinched their first playoff spot since 2013 in Monday's big win over Boston. They are currently a half game out from first place in the Western Conference. So we won't know the playoff schedule until it's announced April 11th, but with their current record, things are looking good for the Nuggets to play at least a couple of playoff games here at home. Let's get a check of your forecast from Stacy.
Feels like spring. Afternoon highs around 60 degrees today, and we'll hang on to this mild weather even into Friday, even though we have a few scattered showers moving into the Front Range. That's going to start with snow in the high country and then eventually make its way this direction. 53 degrees Saturday afternoon, 58 on Sunday with also a chance for a few showers, but check out the forecast for next week. 62 Monday, 68 on Tuesday, and we'll be all the way up to 70 by Wednesday.
So the bad news is you didn't win Powerball last night, but the good news is the jackpot continues to grow. Yeah, nobody matched all 5 numbers in the Powerball in last night's drawing. Saturday's drawing will now have a top prize of $625 million. That is the 7th largest in the game's history. There were a few small winners in last night's game. One person in South Carolina won $2 million. 4 others won a $1 million prize. Unfortunately, none of them calls Colorado home. So you're saying there's a chance, There's still a chance. This has been your Denver 7 On Demand update. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you check back here later today for another update and download the free Denver 7 app for breaking news and alerts. Have a great day.